Wow, there's a lot of Valentina fans who don't listen to what's being said and who think Valentina is the second coming of Michael Jackson. You know what? That joke might be inappropriate given that it's 10 years from Michael's death soon, but some of y'all really bought into Valentina's whole fantasy that she's the greatest thing ever. This, of course, is in regards to the comments from the previous video. However, I do have a feeling similar comments will be under this one too. So today we're going to be going through each main challenge from All Stars 4, and based on the top 2's performance in those challenges and their runway looks, I will be guessing who'd win the main challenge each episode. The last time I did this, a lot of people had a problem with the fact that I also looked at the runway when choosing the winner, but since we're not talking about Drag Race Thailand, but rather Drag Race, where many a time we've seen queens not win main challenges because their runways weren't the best. The first thing that comes to mind is Alexis Michelle not winning the Kardashians the Rusical, but then again, sometimes the runway is irrelevant. However, I prefer to take into account runway presentation for every single episode. Also, by now, we know that certain wins are just due to storyline reasons or because the producers want to start some shit with the girls, but I will keep such influence on my decisions to a minimal. And in some cases, I will mention somebody who I think should win the main challenge, or should have been in the top 2, even though this queen didn't win the main challenge or wasn't in the top 2. Without any further ado, let's get into this bitch. In episode 1, we saw Monique and Trinity in the top 2. Quite honestly, neither of them, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many, and based on the stories from the actual queens on All Stars 4, should have been the top 2. The sort of consensus we've all come to is that Gia and Manila should have been the top 2, with either of them winning the main challenge, while some people also throw in Latrice and Naomi in there, but quite literally, I've never seen anyone think both Monique and Trinity should have been in the top 2. If it were up to me, Gia would be the winner of the first main challenge. However, let's not stray away from the rules too much. Well, okay. It's between Monique and Trinity. Since both of them had a sort of a similar performance of performing a song, and because I guess Monique's was sung live mostly, and she danced while Trinity just diddled around the stage and lip-synced, I have to give this one to Monique. Both of their outfits were horrendous though. So, for the sake of being fair, we'll put it this way. Half Gia, half Monique. In episode 2, the top 2 were Monet and Valentina wins this, leave me alone Valentina fans. In episode 3, the top 2 were Manila and Trinity. Now, listen, I don't think Manila's snatch game was as strong as Trinity's was, and if the cards were stacked a little differently, I think Naomi would have been in the top 2 instead of one of the two. That being said, Manila did have a really cool runway look. Sadly for her, Trinity had a polished, well-executed, perfectly answering the team runway look as well, so this one goes to Trinity. In episode 4, I don't think there's any competition between Manila and Monique. They both did do great in the main challenge, but it's the runway that decided it for me. Manila wore a really, I'd say, punny look, cause she mixed the sort of 17th and 18th century French fashion through the modern lens, mixed with actual padding fabric, or rather pattern, while Monique did over-exaggerated features, but she was also in a dress for some reason that had brown gown pattern that we've seen 78,000 times, and then also for some reason she had electric blue eyeshadow with neon orange hair. It just seemed very disjointed. And let's not even mention Manila's original outfit for this runway. This one goes to Manila hands down. And let me just mention that I personally think Naomi should have been in the top 2 with Manila instead of Monique. Episode 5 had Manila and Monet in the top 2, and poor Monet. Kinda her best runway look is almost negligible because of, well, for one, Manila's roast look and then Manila's performance in the roast. Don't get me wrong, Monet was funny too, but there were too many, I don't wanna say stolen jokes, but let's say inspired by other jokes, or too similar to other jokes in her repertoire that we've heard on Drag Race. So Manila wins this one. Just like in the last video, we're skipping episode 6, though honestly if we weren't doing that, we could easily give the win to Gia for giving us 2 great looks and a great performance. Episode 7 had Latrice and Trinity in the top 2, and this is where I call bullshit, because Manila did all the work for the main challenge, and for storyline reasons, and for reasons that are really just producers liking Latrice, she didn't get the top 2 spot, which hindered her overall performance by 1 or 2 points, which which sometimes makes a huge difference. Now, just like I did with episode 1, half of this will be Manila, aka honestly, let's be real, the legitimate winner of this challenge, and the second half is hard to decide because, like, Latrice is wearing latex, and again, she's in a gown, surprise, surprise, and Trinity is wearing a look that, while it maybe is made out of plastic, it's supposed to represent bubblegum, which isn't plastic either. I literally have no idea who to pick. Are we all in agreement that we just say Manila wins this one because she did all the work for the main challenge and looked great? Oh, we are? Okay, cool. In episode 8, the top 2 were Monet and Naomi. I have to give this one to Monet, and here's why. Looking at what the two of them did on their makeover partners, as in they had to make them over to represent their drag styles and such, do you ever, or rather have you ever, looked at Naomi and thought, oh, Cher? Because I certainly have not. And Monet did a fantastic job, and while I'm talking about why she did an excellent job, let's look at pics of Patty out of drag. Yeah, so Monet did Patty's makeup incredibly well, no surprises there, and they both looked gorgeous, while at the same time she did this incredible trick for makeover challenges of wearing different styles of the same fabric or pattern or color or whatever, while Naomi and her partner's looks were literally just like couple's Halloween costume. Furthermore, you look at Patty in drag and you see a gorgeous face, a slightly Broadway-esque feel to the look, so New York. You see a bodysuit, a sparkly one at that, and if you put all those pieces together, you get Monet's aesthetic. So yes, this one goes to Monet. In the final episode we'll be looking at in this video, episode 9, the top 2 were Monique and Trinity. This is Monique's win. Her runway look was amazing, her performance in the main challenge, the god-awful main challenge that it was amazing as well. What to me brings down Trinity's performance in the main challenge is the fact that we know Monet would have played her role so much better, and we heard her doing it so much better, so yeah, the last win goes to the robbed Queen of All Stars 4, Monique Hart. Well, only a quarter of my picks matches the judges' picks, but then like, one of my picks was made just so that certain people wouldn't flood my comments. You know what? Fuck it. I think Monet would have won the episode 2 main challenge because she looked gorgeous on the runway and exquisite while Valentina wore a skirt with a pattern, and then also Monet didn't have to emulate any celebrity to be great in her performance, so I guess only 1 out of the 8 possible picks match up with the producer's picks, but we already know that the judging on All Stars 4 was abysmal. Not saying that my judging was the correct judging or good or whatever, but I think we can all agree that it's better than what we saw on All Stars 4. So, what are we thinking of the upload schedule of Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon my time? Are we down with that? Oh, my time zone is Central European summertime. Summertime with sleepy eyes. I'm sorry.